Good afternoon, Miss Roslyn. I am Caleb.
And I'm Joe.
I'm Chyenne.
And today we're going to present about our ITIF company's upgrades thing.
Okay, so on to our background information. ITIF, our company, is a budgetary administration organization situated in Singapore. The CEO of the company has decided to upgrade and extend the company by setting up a branch office in Changi Business Park, which has a capacity of 20 workers. The CEO has tasked us to set up a suitable LAN and WAN connection between the two branches to allow workers to work efficiently and quickly over the network.
And let's move on to the first learning issues. It is what is a hub, switch, and routers. And for the hub, it's also known as the repeaters. It is the network devices which is operate on the first layer, is the physical layer. It allows you to connect network devices for communication. It only a broadcast or the package for all the computers. So the hub is designed to connect computers to each other with no real understanding what is transferring and which computer should be transferred. And it is usually used for a private network which does not have any connections to resources. And this one is a switch. Switch is the network devices which is operate on the second layer. It's the data link layer. It will also connect to the computers to each other. But the difference from the hub and the switch is the way that it handles the package of the data. For the switch, it determines what computers or devices that the packages is intended for and send it to the specific computers only. And it does not broadcast the package to all the computers as a hub does, which means the bandwidth is not shared and it makes the network more efficient. And the switch is also usually preferred more over than the hub. And the one is the routers. Routers is operate on the third layer, which is the network layer. It allows your computers to communicate with other network devices by using the internet. And the routers bridges the gap between the other networks and given your network access to more features such as the firewall. And there are two types of the routers, which is the wired routers and the wireless router. For the wired routers, it needs the devices to connect the network by using the wire. But the wireless routers allows the laptop to wirelessly connect it to your home network, which is more efficient. And the wireless routers allows wireless devices such as laptop, tablets, or your phones to connect to your network in the big area. And let's move on to the second learning issue, which is the IP address. And the IP address stands for the Internet Protocol address. It is the unique identifier for a computer. The computer is allowed to communicate with other devices by using the unique identifier, which is to send the data through the internet. And the IP address consists of 4 numbers, which is 255.255.255.0. And each of the 4 numbers can range from 1 to 255. And these 4 numbers is the key that allows 2 users to communicate and send the data over the internet. And it is to making sure that the message is sent to the correct persons that the users have requested, and it also research the correct internet destination. And there are 2 standards for IP address: is the IP version 4 and the IP version 6 as well. And this is the IP classes range. There are 5 classes: class A, B, C, D. And the class A, the IP address range is from 1 to 127, and the network mask is 255.0.0.0. And the number of the network is 125, and the number of the hosts is 16,777,214, and so on and so forth. And for the class D and E, for the class D, it is usually used for the multi-class addresses, so it does not have the network mask. And the class E is also only used for the experimental uses. And there are 2 types of the IP address, which is static IP address and dynamic. And the the static IP address is never changed, and it serves as a permanent internet address. It provides a simple and reliable ways for you to remote your computers. And the dynamic IP address is a temporary one. It will change once you once you use your computer to assign the internet. And this one is the dynamic host configuration protocol. It is a network devices. It is to join or leaves an IP based on the network. It will automatically change or release an IP address for your computers.
Now I'm going to present about the learning issue 3. So what is a network reference model and a suitable network reference model for the company to use? Okay, a network reference model distinctly defines the function of each communication software in a generalized and disciplined manner, which helps to carry out the network products development activities in which allows the use of network in between users. With this model, users are able to understand the network more easily. Network reference model usually consists of application programs, request/reply channels, message stream channels, host-to-host connectivity, and hardware. This is an abstract representation of how a network model usually looks like. The program, channel, host-to-host, and hardware. Okay, there are two most common referencing models, which is the OSI models, which consists of 7 layers, and the TCP/IP model, which commonly consists of 4 layers. And this is the OSI model, and this is the TCP/IP model. Okay, the OSI referencing model consists of 7 layers. One of the layers is the physical layers, which controls the electrical and mechanical aspects of data transmission. The data link layer addresses the transmission of the data over a physical link in between network entities, including error correction. Network layers, it finds a path for the data between computers and determines switching among routes between computers, and determines how to separate messages into individual packets. The transport layers deals with data transfer between the end system and determines the flow control. Session layer creates and manages sessions while one application process requests access to another application process. For example, if Microsoft wants to import a spreadsheet from Excel. Presentation layer determines the representation of data. For example, the agreement of the character code like ASCII and the Unicode, which are two different code systems to determine the outcome of the text. Application layer establish interface between a user and a host computer. TCP/IP reference model is a 4-layer reference model. However, some people may consider it as a 5th layer, with the physical layer considered as the 5th layer. The physical layer is responsible for various encoding and signaling functions that can transform the data from a computer or other devices into a signal that can be sent over the network. The physical network or data link layer. Data link, also sometimes called the link layer, is where many wired and wireless local area network technology primarily functions, for example, Wi-Fi, LAN, or WAN. The Internet or network layer provide a network address and routing, providing a common address space and connecting networks. IP address is also connected to this layer. Transport layer. It represents an important transition point between the hardware associated layers. Below it, that does all the hard work, and the layers that are above are more software oriented. Process and application layer provides application services to users and programs. The main difference between the both layers is the OSI model has 7 layers, while the other model have 5 layers. Both have network, transport, and application layers, but the rest of the other layers of the different model function differently. OSI model supports both connectionless and connection-oriented communication. However, TCP/IP supports only connectionless communication. Okay, now it's about the learning issue 4, which is what is the use of Microsoft Office 365 solution and how can it improve connection? What is Microsoft 365? It's a group of software services subscription by Microsoft that provides productivity software. For example, Microsoft PowerPoint, Word, Excel, and so on. Office 365 caters to two different kinds of end users: the everyday end consumer and for business enterprises. Both plans are offered at a different price and they offer different kinds of products and services. Office 365 subscribers are also provided with online storage space on Microsoft Cloud Storage OneDrive. This online storage can be connected by or shared with the subscribers' workmates or friends. Pros of Office 365 is high security, always up to date, competitively priced, email hosted in the cloud, that means easy administration of emails, easy and simple to use of file storage and syncing, can be easily accessed anywhere, and is able to be used on mobile, on iOS and Android. It also allows for easy collaboration and communication, and scalability, security, and stability. However, the cons are, because all of these data are stored on Microsoft servers, they are prone to hackers and people may not trust the software. It is subscription based, and that means the user has to pay every month, and so on. Okay, so now we'll talk about the learning issue 5, which is problems in the current ITIF inventory. First, we need to know what can be the problems. So, what is a MAC address? The MAC address is also known as the physical address of the hardware. Each and every hardware have a different address. This address is given to the hardware when the hardware was manufactured. The MAC address of the hardware consists of 12 hexadecimal digits. The first 6 digits are also known as the UOI, or the Organization Unique Identifier. That means the first 6 digits of the same company's devices are supposed to be the same. So the problems are the MAC address for SG Hub 04 and 07 and SG SW01 are not right, as the first digit of the MAC address are different, meaning that they are not Cisco's item. The IP address of the router is 199.199.200.1, where other devices are 199.199.199 and so on. The serial number of the switch and router is also the same. Okay. Individual learning issue 6. Are there any alternative or new devices that can help improve connections? Routers. The current router that is being used is a Cisco 1841 service router. Currently, there is a newer and more powerful router that Cisco provides that allows for a faster internet, faster upload and download, and faster transfer speed among the peers, which is the Cisco 1914 router, which is the new top-of-the-line and best price-to-ratio router in Cisco batch of routers in the 90,000 series. These routers have both 500 megabyte of DRMB RAM, DRMB and a gigantic 200 gig maximum compared to the current router, which is currently being used now and only has a default DRAM of 200 megabyte with a maximum of only 400 megabytes. The router also comes with more features and functions. The Cisco 1941 router supports both digital and analog voice record methods along with its host of other improvements. Okay. Cables. There are many different types of category of cable. Category 3, 4, 5, E5, E6, and 7. Currently, the company is using a Cat 5 Internet Twisted Pair Cabling LAN cable, which is with its current dedicated 4 megabytes. There are not Although with this current internet speed, don't have any bottlenecks, as Cat5 can support up to 100 megabits per second. However, when multiple computers connect to each other and transfer files at the same time, this could reach the data speed, the maximum data speed of the supporting cable. So, I will recommend that the company upgrade to maybe Cat5e or Cat6, which supports up to 10 gig of transfer speed, which is more than enough to prevent bottlenecking. With the upgrade of the cables, this will also future-proof the companies in case in the future they want to upgrade the internet. There are two main types of Ethernet cable, solid and stranded. The solid cables uses a single piece of copper, hence it's not very flexible. And this can be used, and this is perfect for permanent installation. The stranded cable can also be used, is a series of copper cable twisted together. Hence, this can be used by employees for their personal computers, which can be moved around a lot. Nowadays, internet cables are very relatively cheap, and hence it is cheap to upgrade.
Fuck this guy, you can educate my goodness. Okay, so moving on to my learning issue, what is LAN? So LAN, a local area network, also known as LAN, is actually a computer network that spans a relatively small area. Most often, a LAN is confined to a single room, building, or group of buildings. However, one LAN can actually be connected to other LANs over any distance via telephone lines and radio waves. So how do we actually improve the LAN performance? So maybe one of the simplest and easiest solution, users should actually consider purchasing a shorter Ethernet cable. With a shorter cable, the network speed will be faster and perform at a better quality. So for example, this category 6 cables in particular offer high quality and fast speeds. So moving on to the next learning issue, what is WAN? So wide area network, WAN, is actually a network that transfers a public or commercial carrier using one of the several WAN technologies. A WAN is often under the administrative control of service providers and does not necessarily need to span large geographical distances. So there's actually many types of WAN connections, WAN link connections. So for example, like this, we have actually lease line, circuit switching, and packet switching. So actually, we can actually choose the appropriate WAN link connection. I would actually recommend that we use the lease line option as it is the most secure. The chances of other competition to be not able to look in our progress would be slimmer, as this line is actually the most secure among the rest. So moving on, learning issue 9. What other service providers are alternative besides Singtel? StarHub is actually another provider alternative besides Singtel. What StarHub provides can be of great significance besides using Singtel. They actually provide their 1 Gbps fiber broadband at only $49.90 per month. The pricing of this plan is actually $20 cheaper than what Singtel is actually offering. And unlike Singtel, StarHub is actually offering a DIR868L wireless AC dual band router worth $319 for free. So you might wonder why StarHub? I would say StarHub would be one of the best choice as it is cheaper and they provide the same coverage for the internet speed. So this can actually cut costs for the company's financial, and the money left that has been used to cut costs could be used in other forms of investments, for example like better antivirus software.
In conclusion, after learning from the learning issues that we have learned, we can improve our understanding and we can improve ITIF's network from the data of our research.
Thank you.
Thank you.